All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, of course, on their Facebook page. Hello, Facebook. And streaming on the Relevant app. Hey, Relevant. Great to have you on here. Of course, the group messaging app with live interactive podcasts. It's so easy. It's so easy to use. You got to try it yourself. Get it on the Apple, at the App Store, and on Google Play. Lots to get into. What a frustrating game. I know. You guys already been through it. So we talked about this. Graham and I, my esteemed producer here, for the podcast, we talked about maybe moving this show to Monday, because by Tuesday, you've been through Monday, right? So do you want to relive it? I mean, you're going to kind of have to if you listen to this show. But then we're like, you know what? Let everybody get Monday out of the way, and then Tommy Mack will come in and put a bow on it on a Tuesday morning.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that? I think that's pretty darn good.
Also, Monday, everyone's doing their reactions.
Right.
So things get saturated.
I tell you,
you
one
go
thing
Tuesday, you stand out more.
One thing I've learned in my old age, I used to blurt it out right away, because the emotion. Yeah. Then I've learned, all right, just give it a minute, take a breath. I didn't do any social media. I might have commented on the app a little bit. Once the game was over, I was like, man, I'm staying away. I looked on Twitter. People were doing this, that. Some give excuses. Some are bitching, moaning, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just hang with my family and not even worry about that stuff.
We're just going to head to Lynch's and have a good night.
Well, we went to eat first, and then we dropped the youngest off, and then we went to Lynch's. I will say this. Alumni weekend was awesome. Thank you, Jaguars Foundation. Thank you, Jaguars organization. What a first-class operation. Pretty much the whole way. The seats, the guys, they're going to be upset about the seats, but whatever. You got to do what you got to do. But overall, it was a great weekend. Great tribute to Tony Baselli, our teammate. Got to hang with Tony on Friday night at Topgolf and Saturday morning at practice. And it was funny. We get in the team meeting room. Players from all different, years and whatnot, and it felt like you were back on the team, like the cut-ups, guys were cutting up each other, telling stories. It was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. Great seeing all the guys, all the team, and great to meet the younger alumni, because I'm like, man, I have no idea. And they probably are looking at me like, who in the hell is this guy? Like, you know what I mean? But Then you get to talk to him. Talk to Austin Lane for a bit about his UFC.
Yeah.
Dude, he is a tough hombre, man. He was telling me about getting his nose broken before the fight in training twice, and then on the first punch in his last fight, breaks it again. I was like, do you ever get used to it? Does it like...
My man has a broken nose giving the post-fight interview, looks in the camera, and gives a Duval shout.
Oh, I know.
That's
classic.
That's legendary stuff.
Totally.
You don't get better than that.
You should see this. I mean, you're like, wow, man. He's like, yeah, my wife's a doctor, so she's got to fix me up. And I came in from training like a week before the fight. I broke my nose. She's like, what in the hell are you doing? Just fix me up. Great. Just, those fighters, I love them. I love them because they're tough as nails, and they're just basically not afraid of anything. And I don't know. I think that's pretty darn cool.
You got to be pretty damn crazy to get into a UFC octagon.
If you get punched in the nose once and you break it, I've had my nose bloodied. I've never had it broken, but try getting hit 30 more times or 20 more times, or an elbow to it or a knee to it. I mean, like, you see some of these fighters, their noses are over here and they're ripped in half and they're still like ready to go. That's
and factor in being really out of breath too.
To your point. Absolutely. But a great weekend. And I'll tell you a real quick funny story. My Harley, my youngest, and I went up to the suite level to do the hologram thing they have in the suites, right? So we went up there and did it. We yelled in Duval, and it was great. And we just get done. We're standing there, and out comes Tony Baselli in his Hall of Fame jacket. And my daughter froze, and she's like, "Dad, he's a giant." I'm like, you think your dad's big? Look at this guy. She's like, his limbs are so long. It was, I can't wait to tell Tony. Hopefully he's watching or listening. He'll see it later, maybe. But that was classic. She's like, his hands were like 9 times the size of mine, Dad. You had to play against him? Oh, my gosh. It was so great. So great. All right, let's get into it because obviously a very disappointing loss. I mean, here we go again. I mean, every gosh dang time we're thinking, no problem, we're going to beat the Texans. I do it too. I don't know why we think there's such an afterthought. We're 20-4 in the last 24 games. We're 0-9 in the last 9. Think about that. That's an ass freaking whooping. They have owned us. Forget the Titans. Forget the Colts. The Texans are the team we can't freaking beat. It's so annoying. And look, woulda, shoulda, coulda, blada, blada, blada. I don't give a crap. You lost the damn game. The defense was very good until the end. And not just the penalty, which I'll get into, but, not being able to bring down Pierce, that was a problem. Were you tired? You know what? I don't care if you're tired. Everybody's tired. But whatever. They did enough to win. You hold a team to 13 points, you should win that dang game.
Yes.
I mean, the offense can't score more than 6. You stink in the red zone. I don't know. Let me tell you something about Trevor Lawrence, okay? I was on this, and we already know this, but it was cool to see. So the fourth quarter, we're hanging out with our friends in the Bud Zone. I had passes, but not seats. And they're like, hey, we got some open seats. Come sit with us for the fourth quarter. Like, all right, cool. So we go down. We're like 5 rows up on the Jag side, like in the 45. Phenomenal seats, right? They're great. He throws an out pattern. Now, granted, sailed way over the receiver's head. This thing was humming. I mean, and he threw it like 20, 30 yards. I was like, wow, man, we always knew he had a strong arm, but to see it like that, it was just really impressive. So he's got the arm. He's got the tools. What he doesn't have is where to place the ball. And that is a concern. Now, stop the crap that he's a bust. I mean, give me a freaking break. And look, and stop the crap that, well, last year wasn't really his rookie year. This year. No. He's in his second year. Okay, he played all year. He's got a lot of football under his belt. He should be making simple throws. When your guy's open, you make the throw. You don't sail it. You don't whatever. Now, were there drops? Yeah, there were drops. But, even on his completions, they always seem a little bit off. Take the Dan Arnold route, for example. If he hits him in stride, that may be 6. He's got to go up for it and, catch it and fall on his ass and can't, by then they touch him down. Just little things like that, like, a crossing pattern. He doesn't throw it in time to let the guy run up and make, turn the corner and get up. He's got to go out, or he misses on a slant. It's a little bit behind, Ball placement is huge in the passing offense because it gives your receivers, backs, tight ends included, a chance to make a play. He doesn't ever, and I shouldn't say ever because that'd be terrible. No, it's not a blatant statement. He does some really good things, and I still think he can be a good player. Look, I'm going to say this, that he didn't call himself generational, okay? The media did. National, local, we all did, okay? Generation. Why? Because that's how he was touted, right? Won all the time, national champ, got all the tools, can't miss prospect, the sure thing. But by the way, if the Jags didn't take him, Detroit would have somebody would have taken him. So it's not like you wouldn't have taken Trevor Lawrence number 1 overall in 2 years ago. You would. But he played all last year. And by the way, he finished strong last year. And he had a couple good games this year, but it's not consistent. So this isn't his rookie year. This is his second year. He's got to get better. And I think, look, I feel like maybe he's just throwing it late. Like he's just not, and maybe he's thinking too much. I wrote a note down here. Look, we want to compare him to Josh Allen. That's whatever. We'll see what happens, right? But what I love about Josh Allen, I think Trevor has the same qualities. He can play street ball. Now, he's not as big as Josh Allen, and maybe not as athletic, but he's athletic enough. And he should, look, and I'm not just talking about the pick. There are other times in games before that he should have just taken off and run. Go make a play, Trev. Just get the first down. Keep the chains moving. Whatever you got to do. I don't know if they're telling him not to do that, but he clearly isn't doing that naturally. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe he's, look, an out pattern, on the numbers every single time. That's like every QB can do that. Any QB that can start in the NFL can make that throw. Look, against the Chargers, he had a couple sail on it, but he settled down and it got better. Now, we can also say, well, the game plan, well, why'd we get away from Etienne? Why'd we get away from Travis Etienne? Why didn't we use that more? Because he was effective. I felt like he was finally getting into a damn groove, and then it's like, where'd he go? And it was a tight ball game. The red zone is a problem. Look, okay, Trevor had a really bad day. Okay, you could tell me drops, fine. I'll give you some of those. I like to see where those balls were. I didn't watch every drop, but I'd like to see, were they placed in the right spot, or was it a tough grab, or what was it? I'm the believer, hits your hands, you make the catch. So they're not, these receivers dropping balls, they're not, withheld from being critiqued. They got to catch a damn ball. There's no doubt about it.
If I remember correctly, I think there were 3, point blank, got to catch it drops.
And that's 3 too many.
Distinctly remember Jamal Agnew had one.
Yeah.
Travis Etienne definitely had one.
Yeah, he should have caught that one.
There were 2 or 3 where it's no excuse whatsoever.
Right.
And then a couple where it's kind of iffy,
I don't know if I'm ready to totally say this, but I feel like down the middle, he's great at the digs over the middle. You know what I mean? He can make those all day long, but when it gets outside or touch or deep, he's off. He's just off on.
It's the touch throws / deep throws that he keeps overthrowing.
Yeah. Well, the out's not a touch, though. That's, you got to hum it in there, but you can't overthrow it. He's got to be there. But the deep throw, he's way off, but he's never been on. He's never really been on.
That's what I'm saying. Why? Because you got to hit those, man. You get a receiver that gets a step 40 yards down the field, that needs to be 6 points.
Okay, and again, I'm not going to totally defend the kid, but you know what? When you do throw it and your receiver doesn't make a play for you, that doesn't give you the confidence to throw it again. It does work. That's where teamwork, a team comes in. So, yeah, Agnew's got to make those catches. Even in the one last week that was a little off, you got to at least get your hand on the gosh dang ball. It wasn't way out of reach for you. So, no, he's not very good at that. Another thing, he's got tunnel vision. He does. He locks in.
You could tell late in that game.
It's not just the interception, too, but he does. He locks into his receiver. He's got to stop doing that.
You could tell late in that game, the last drive where they actually moved the ball with a chance to score, not the last drive with the Hail Mary, but
no, right.
He only wanted
to Ingram. There's 3 guys there. Come on,
only wanted to throw to Evan Ingram.
What are you doing?
That was it.
Right.
If Evan Ingram wasn't open, he had nothing. He was not going to look anywhere else.
Well, he was open. If you drill him, if you put it right into his numbers, he was open. But there was 3 guys nearby. That's a 4th. He throws into coverage. He has trouble reading defenses. I don't know. I think now, go back to weeks 2 and 3. The game plan was what? You got him into a nice rhythm. Maybe they figured that out. All I'm saying is I think with Trevor, Trevor's got to do some soul searching. There's no doubt. He's the only one that can say, am I doing everything possible to make myself better? I don't know. I hope he is. I'm not going to assume. A lot of assuming out there, assume means, right? You make an ass out of you and me. That's what it shouldn't assume. I'm not going to assume he does. I heard earlier, what was it, yesterday on 1010, maybe Primetime saying, is that a lot of these young quarterbacks don't study, like Kyler Murray, right, that came out. I don't study that much. You better study. They're smarter than you when it comes to X's and O's. They've been doing it, these coordinators. They're wizards, man.
Is there something to the new wave of super athletic quarterbacks that are good, really good at that street ball that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Is there something to those guys thinking, maybe not they would never say this out loud, but thinking subconsciously, well, if I don't exactly know what's going on, I can just play some street ball.
Here's the problem. As we all know, you're going against the elite of the elite. everybody's big, everybody's fast, everybody's quick, everybody's tough, everybody's physical. You know what I mean? It's like, so no, I don't think you're just going to be able to go out there and do that without knowing what the defense is doing.
I totally agree.
I mean? You got to study that big time. I'm
saying is there something to the quarterback thinking that?
I don't know. I'll tell you what I don't
do you think Kyler
is
Murray
this whole, wasn't, hey, self-inflicted crap. I can't stand that. Well, it wasn't them. They didn't beat us. We beat ourselves. I mean, is that the answer every week? It's stupid. You're shaking your head. Yes, it is. It's like weak. It's weak. I mean, you got to take your medicine. Trevon Walker. Here's the problem I had with Trevon Walker. Okay. Well, I have a lot of problems with that play because the whistle clearly blew. Everyone stopped moving. I mean, the quarterback wasn't really even doing anything. I don't mind that you grabbed him because you're fast, but to whip him down, that was frustration. That's what that was. Maybe you were getting beat. I don't know. I didn't study that, but that was a frustration type play. That wasn't, well, I didn't know what was going on. I was frustrated with whatever, and he whipped that quarterback down to the ground. I couldn't believe when he did it. I was like, oh, okay, the offsides, you still got a chance. Then you're like, what are you doing? And then he comes off the field, and Doug Peterson and Mike Caldwell separately just tap him on the head. It's okay. It's okay. Now, I'm not saying you got to rip him right there, but that's not okay. That was a critical moment in the game. Even if you don't, even if you get the offsides, it's still another 5-6 yards for a first down. So it's not like you gave up a first down. You still had a chance. And then Pierce, credit Pierce. I guess, I don't know. My father-in-law last night said it best. He looked like Walter Payton out there on that run. And he did. Nobody could bring him down. Hey, credit to the young man.
I'll tell you this, too.
He's a beast. You guys at Florida have known that he's a thumper and a tough running back.
And I'll tell you this, too. We've talked about this before. Right before the season started, when they didn't pick up another big body at defensive tackle, what did Doug Peterson say? Yep. He said it's a passing league. It's all about stopping the pass. Yep. It's not as important to stop
Corey
the run.
Simon was called.
Guess what? Now you're in a division with Dameon Pierce, Derrick Henry, and Jonathan Taylor. That's 6 games a year. Good freaking luck.
Yeah.
You better be able to stop the run.
I mean, up until then, they did. They shut them down. I mean, they had offense didn't do much. They barely had 250 yards. I mean, the defense, look, the last series sucked, and you got to take your medicine. Wasn't good enough. Someone's got to make a play. That penalty was terrible. I hope they did rip him privately because he needs something. I don't know Trayvon personally, and I don't know if he likes that, but that can't happen. That can't happen. Frustration cannot get into the way of your play if you're going to do that, because that's ridiculous. And look, the way they protect these. What do they want the defend? This is what I want the defender to do. I'm going to sidebar here for a second. All these, penalties, roughing the passer stuff. That one last night was, what do you want Chris Jones to do? You know how bad he could have hurt Derek Carr without landing on him? He could have run right through his back and shattered that spine if he wanted to, and that guy would have dropped the ball. He didn't. He swiped it down. He tried the whole. I mean, he did land on him. Momentum took him over. But what do you want us to? What do you want us? And not me. What do you want these defenders to do? Run right through. That's what I would do. I tell my guys, you know what? Don't wrap up. Just run as hard as you can. Put your face in their chest and break every damn rib in their damn car. Knock them out of the game that way. And I'm sorry, you don't like your quarterback get knocked out of the game. That's the game to me. I don't want, what do I always say? I don't want to hurt his career. I just want him hurt for the day.
You're right.
That's it.
Play somebody next week.
Right. It's not up to me to keep him protected like that. Look, it's just getting way out. And then Brady gets barely tossed to the ground, and he gets, they call roughing the passer. That was weak. So weak. I mean, come on, man.
So the Brady play, I have no answer for. The Chris Jones play, what do you want him to do? Here's what's tough. In the moment when it happens, based on the rules the NFL has set, the refs
land on him.
The refs made the correct call.
I just don't know what you're supposed to do.
However, that's a stupid rule.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
okay, that's
fair. If you're watching the game, don't be mad at the refs.
Right.
Be mad at the league because they're the ones that instilled this.
The rule sucks.
It's the Anthony Barr, Aaron Rodgers thing.
Right.
Anthony Barr fell on top of him, broke Aaron Rodgers' collarbone. Oh no, boo-hoo, Aaron Rodgers. But it's like, bro, you're making a sack.
Yeah. I had
There's
no
a thing
problem
called
with Chris
gravity.
Jones broke Nick Foles' collarbone. Block him.
Yes, of course.
I mean, block his ass and your quarterback don't get hit. I don't know.
I've never heard a single Jags fan say that was a dirty play when Nick Foles broke his collarbone.
Great. If I
I've
was
never
Chris Jones,
heard that
I'd be
said.
jacked as all get out. I knocked him out of the game.
Right.
Sorry you got, hurt for the year, but that's too. Look, it's a violent game. It's supposed to be made of violence. I don't know. I can't believe they protect him that bad. That was a. I get what you're saying, but I don't know. You got to have some kind of leniency there. You know what I mean? Like, you use some common sense.
I liked a lot what Troy Aikman said last night because I've agreed with this for forever. He said it on Scott Van Pelt after the game when they were talking about it. Troy Aikman said that the NFL has said time and time again that the officials cannot make a ruling based on intent.
Yeah.
And he disagrees with that, and so do I. Because it's I understand it because, like, you want to put rules in writing and you don't want to leave things up to subjectivity.
Yep.
But when you watch any given sack like that, you can tell if it's dirty or not.
Yeah.
It's very clear. I think Chris Jones clearly was not trying to hurt anybody. By the way, he had the
ball, so how is it even...
Correct.
The ball, once he's got the ball, the quarterback no longer has possession of the ball. The defender does, so he lands on him.
The quarterback was some guy on the field. Right.
He's not sacking the quarterback. He's got the ball.
Right.
He strip-sacked the quarterback.
And you or me or anybody watching the game can 99.9% of the time tell when you see a tackle, was it dirty or was it part of the game?
Yeah, right. Was it
That
vicious?
was clearly not dirty.
Right. Look, look, go back to unnecessary roughness and necessary roughness. Because there's both in a game. You got it. Sorry, I'm running into that son of a bitch as hard as I can. I'm not hitting him in the head. I won't land on him. But I'm going to make sure he feels my hit. And you may not like him bouncing off the turf 3 or 4 times. But that's what's going to happen. By the way, he could get a concussion. Sure, the head could bounce off the turf too. I mean, what is that going to be? Well, what's the call, ref? Well, you hit him too hard. Really? That's what we're getting to? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know. What a game, though, last night. What a game. I hate making this statement, but I'm going to make it. We thought the AFC West was going to be the toughest division. The NFC East is going to be the toughest division.
Easily.
You may get swept by the NFC East this year. Cowboys are playing good. So are the G-men.
Since the Commanders beat you.
I'm telling you. I don't know. We didn't think that, though.
No, not at all.
Jets. Look at the Jets. They kicked the crap out of Miami. It's still too early to find out what this team's good. Look, end of the day, they go up to the Colts and beat them. We're 500. We're good. We're good. Can they beat them? I don't know.
This part of the schedule.
I don't know.
This part of the schedule, the next 3-4 weeks, is when the season can really get away from you if you're not careful.
No doubt.
Because you lose to the Colts 2-4.
Yep.
Way different from 3-3.
And then you go to Denver, right? London, right?
You could be 2-5 pretty quickly, or you could be 4-3.
Yeah.
And you look fine. This part of the schedule is when things can really get away from you if you're not careful.
You got Baltimore. Who knows what happens with the Raiders? They played the Chiefs really tough. They did. It was a good game. Denver, look, their defense is tough. They got a really good defense, just like we do. But they do too. And if Russ catches fire, I don't know. Look, so back to Trevor. It's I'll credit the O-line. O-line did great. 1 recorded hit on their quarterback. 1. Overall, I'll take that all day long out of my offensive line because last week, you know how I felt about them. Defensive front, Devon Hamilton included. Overall, hey, man, you stopped them. You did your job. Now, I'd like to see, look, someone's got to make a play on those runs. Somebody's got to bring them down. And you got a chance. You got a real chance. And you still had a chance with the ball back, but we know how that went down.
Well, but you were absolutely right. You hold a team to 13 points in the NFL, you should win every single game.
The chart says 17 or less. That's the chart.
You hold a team to 13 points, you should never lose in the NFL, in my opinion.
I tell you what, I think we got to get Trevor comfortable again. We got to get him to quit thinking so much. Forget the billing. Let's stop calling him anything. You know what I mean? He's a young man trying to make it in the NFL. I'm not ready to close the book at all. He's got time. He's got to do his part. Like, you can't miss regular, throws that are just, everybody makes them. I know I don't give credit when the player's open and you hit him and you have time and you're not under duress. Every starting NFL quarterback has to be able to do that, or you shouldn't be starting. I mean, they all do it. So I don't give credit for when, oh, wow, he's open, he hit him. Good. That's what he's supposed to do. So, he's got to look. And there were a couple plays where he did really well. He rolled out and he threw it against his body. That was a nice throw. That was to Ingram, I think. Maybe it was to Jones. Jones had a nice day.
You're talking about when he rolled left?
Yeah, rolled left.
Yeah, that was Marvin Jones.
Yeah, that was a really good throw, man.
But that seam route to Ingram was there all day, and Trevor was putting it right on the money.
Yep.
But it's like you just said, it's not consistent.
No. And if he's open, I don't get it. You're supposed to. It's throw, pitch and catch. It's like playing catch outside with your kid, except nobody's barreling down on you. But he's got to get better, so we got to hold him to the fire a little bit.
What was your opinion on the play calling?
I already said I didn't like it overall. I don't know why you got away from ETN. I don't know why. I mean, I would have given. And again, can we get him more in space? Get him in space. Put him on a damn safety and let him go to work on him in the passing game. Now, great, he's got to catch the rock. But I want to see what do we got here.
This is my opinion. I know that a big part of what we want to do with ETN involves him catching the ball, but just to me, it looks and feels like he's a lot more comfortable when he catches a toss or gets a handoff as opposed to running a real route. Yeah. Because if you go back and look at his Clemson career, he was their RB1. He was their running back.
Yeah, but Graham, what did they since he got here? What have they been doing with him? Running routes, but then they don't do it in a game. Like he's been running routes. Like he's been working with the receivers. He's working with the running back. Like, Let's see it. I think Agnew's taken over a couple of those, which I'm fine with. And he's done a good job overall, but you got to get into ETN more involved. And then J-Rob, I don't know. Some days he's just going to get bottled up. And if you don't stay committed, he won't break off that 50 or 40 or 30 yarder. You know what I mean? So you got to stick with it a little bit. I don't want to say this about Doug and his staff because I don't know him that well, but last year I felt like, and granted it was a effed up year. They were always trying to showcase the QB. Like, look at our QB. Look at us. First pick. Yeah, we want to prove that he's generational. We want to show you he's our new toy. Look at him. 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 Right? But what have we seen in Trevor's career in the last year and this year? When's he at his best? When he's not having to carry. He's got a running game. He's got support. He's making throws, but it's not like he's got to, carry the team on his back. Granted, he should be making these routine throws. Receivers should be catching these routine throws. But the ones that aren't routine, he's got to get a lot better at. And he's got to go, I think, just go back. Look, Clemson, what was he, and it's different, of course, but what was he at Clemson? He was a playmaker. He wasn't a gunslinger. I mean, look, that's the problem with college. You get, these big programs, the receivers are wide open.
Wide open.
Throw them the ball and throw them a bomb. It's a score or a big gain, but obviously not. And then but what did he do? He ran around. He ran a lot. He moved around a lot. I just let him be him. And maybe they're not. Maybe they are. Maybe it's all him. Maybe he's thinking too much. Maybe he's caught up in it. I got to prove. I mean, that's got to be hard for a young man to be like, man, they're calling me generational. I really got to be generational. What does that mean? I got to be Luck. I got to be Manning. I got to be whoever. Elway. Guys like that. Maybe he is. I mean, physically he could be, but he clearly isn't based on production. But do we really care? I don't care. I don't care that he was the number one pick. All I want to see is him get better and this team win. And if he gets accolades because of that, then good, they're warranted. But I don't care if he does. I don't care if my quarterback's number 1 in the league or number 12 in the league. As long as he's top 3 in the league and wins, I'm fine.
Well, and
that's all that matters.
And to be that, you got to make the plays when they count, right?
He does. He better be beating himself up a lot.
Well,
they better be beating him up. I don't like this. Again, I'm not going to give him too much grief because I don't know Trevon that well, but that whole patting on the head, I was like, man, that was a really bad penalty. That was in a critical game, and nobody yelled at. Nobody said a word. Now, I'm not saying grab him, shake him, all this other crap, but that's unacceptable.
Just a little bit of, hey, man, unacceptable. Come on, bro.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Get your head together. What are you doing? Calm, exposure. You gotta keep it. Composure. I'm sorry. You got to keep it. Anyway, and you know what? Here's the reality. He's kind of disappeared in production. Trevon. Maybe not against the run, which is fine, but he's not. He started off with such a big bang. There are a couple games you didn't hear his name. Maybe he's frustrated, but it can't boil over into creating a critical penalty at a critical time. What if that was a game to get into the playoffs? And I can't tackle the running back any longer. That costs you. Think about that. Anyway, I don't have all the answers. I'd be the head coach. All I can do is hope for the best. Listen, I'm a Jag through and through. I just think we need to chill on anything, and maybe we just got to lower our expectations a bit. You know what I mean? I put a poll on Relevant on the Jaguars channel. You know, how many wins now? Let's reset. How many total wins will the team get in 2022 after you watch 5 games? And I put 8+, 5-7. 3-4, 2 or less, and 5-7 total wins was the highest vote getter. So what does that mean? So either we're 2-2, so we're either getting 3 or 5 more wins.
Right. Let me ask you.
I wish it's more. Maybe it is. It's funny that's funny how the NFL it changes. Take the G-men. Who had them? Before the season? Who had Jags beating the G-men? I know I did. I know a lot of people did.
And they just beat the Packers in London.
They're going to eat our lunch. Well, I think. Maybe they won't.
Well, my last little thing I wanted to say about Trevor really quick, because I know we got to wrap up, but look at, and just like we were talking about, he doesn't have to play the best game of his life every week, but he's got to make the plays when they count. Because, look at Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
Okay? When it was Bengals-Ravens.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best example because the Ravens won the game, but Joe Burrow, that whole game, and didn't play that well.
No, he didn't.
Jamar Chase didn't make a whole lot of plays.
Nope.
Their offense wasn't great the whole time.
Yep.
But that last drive, they needed to go down and score, and they did. Yep. They lost the game because the defense let the Ravens move back up the field. But
he did it.
The last drive,
Trevor's yet to do that, to lead us back.
Correct.
To a victory.
Trevor Lawrence. And
never.
I would have felt it would have still sucked because they lost the game, but I would have felt better on Sunday if Trevor would have marched them down the field, gotten in the end zone to tie the ball game, and maybe then they gave it up on a field goal or something.
No, right. He's yet
because
to do
then
that.
I have confidence at least that my QB is making the plays when they need to be made.
He's not doing that, Graham. He has yet to
Not
do
at
that.
all.
Right. So I think 2 things on Trevor, and I'm not the QB expert by any means. I've seen plenty throughout the years, but one, I don't know if it's anticipation or what it is, but he's got to throw the ball on better timing. And that's, I think, a big part of it. He's not throwing it on time. He's not putting it in the right spot. You got to get, there's spots on every throw. Do you understand that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Quick slant. It's got to be in front, right? A deep out. It's got to be high and outside. Down the side, high and outside, right? Where only I can catch it.
Even more so if you're playing against...
That's how you got to make these throws.
Even more so if you're playing against a constant zone like Lovie Smith's cover 2. Because you're not throwing to a player in a zone, you're throwing to a soft spot in the zone.
Right, exactly. And hoping that timing is there. So that's got to get better. And number 2, let him go back to playing Trevor ball, man. Just tell him to, hey, you see something, go. I don't care if it's 5 yards. I don't care. Make something positive happen. You don't feel good about your throw. I don't want you forcing a throw. I don't want you missing a throw. If you're not confident to make the throw, then just go. Right?
Go get me 5.
Go get me 5. It's okay. And let's start looking for checkdowns. By the way, before the pick, Robinson's dead ass open in the flat. God. And you're like, dude, all you got to do is look there. It's like those Denver and Thursday night's game of Russell. The guy's right there, and you don't even freaking look at him. He's wide open. He could walk into the end zone. All you have to do is that. It's a lot easier said than done, but you know what I mean? Come on, open your eyes. Don't get tunnel vision. You got to see it all, man. And you know what? Maybe they got to do what the Pats did with Mac Jones last year. Cut the field in half. Fine. You don't have to go over here to over here. Just stay on one side. If it's not there, boom, go. Simplify it for the young man. I don't know if they're doing this, and Trevor, if you ever hear this, you don't have to prove that you're a generational QB. Don't. Forget all that crap. Forget about it. You do have to work on your game. You do have to get better. So you've got to, improve on that. But forget all this stuff. Forget the noise. Just forget about it. Concentrate. Just get completions and win games. Other than that, who cares? At the end of the day, you could throw for all the yards in the world. If you don't have the wins, it doesn't really matter. Because then you're just another Tony Romo, who's fine. And no shot on Tony. He was a very, very good quarterback. But what does he have? Just a bunch of yards. That's what he has.
And Trevor doesn't even know that yet.
No. So don't worry about all that stuff. Just focus on getting better, getting completions, playing Trevor ball, and winning ball games. That'll do it for me right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com. Of course, on Facebook. What's up, Facebook? And the Relevant app, my friends over at Relevant. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Got almost 50 on the horn this time around. It's great. Appreciate you. Make sure you tell all your friends about all the different channels, including the Jaguars channel. You interact with like-minded fans, some former players, some pundits, what have you, some local podcasters as well, all right there on that channel, on every team's channel. Just go check it out and do a little searching, and you will find all the great content on the Relevant app. Relevnt is how you spell it. It's on the App Store and on Google Play. So until next time, stay safe and be cool out there. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.